Ndlekani bakokwani. Greetings from Musoni. Ntukulu wabangoni nibandawo. Namuntlha I stand live from the Holy Land, the land of Kemet, Tameri. So namuntlha we are going to discuss the African order of kingship. It is necessary because there's a lot of confusion, new age theories from people who give out opinions based on how they feel instead of thought process, education, knowledge, and ancient African history, which we study. We read books, we study, we come to these sites to study these things. So a lot of people have been saying the lion is not king in Africa, it's a European concept. And that concept doesn't exist in Europe. First of all, there's no part of Europe that has such a concept. They don't even have lions in Europe, for goodness sake. So right now, you are looking at Heru Emaket, known to many as the Sphinx. I want to show you are looking at the forearms, the paws. This is the body of a lion. And right there at the back, you can even see the tail. So, and this is the head of the king, a human head. So, you obviously can see the oldest depiction of this concept right here in the land of Kemet, where the king is a lion in Ngwenyama. The head of the lion, the head of a human being, and the body of a lion speaks of him being the lion king. So that alone throws out the concept of the lion is not king in Africa. And furthermore, this concept went from here, it ended up in the Bible. And we must bear in mind, you cannot find this concept in Asia or in Europe. You don't find it in Indo-European languages. You don't find it in Semitic. It is a Bantu philosophy, So, you find it, for example, we go to Swat. The king is called Ngwenyama. We go to isiZulu, it's called Ingonyama. There is a Buganda word, I actually forgot it. And this concept, those words are actually cognate with Heru Emaket. Why? Because in a pride, you find many lions. Hence, the concept of Lion of Judah does not explain. It's a mistranslation because English does not have, or Indo-European non-Bantu languages do not have the concept. So hence they say Lion of Judah, which doesn't mean anything because there are many lions in a pride. But in that specific pride, there is only one Ngwenyama, there's only one Ngwenyama.
And in Uganda, gotta represent Uganda, In Uganda, it's called Mpologoma. My pronunciation may be out, but yes. You can see the concept throughout the Bantu region, throughout Africa.
So all of that, Ngonyama, Ngwenyama have nothing to do with the leopard. In this video, the Masonic secrets behind African kingships, I explain the role of the leopard in Africa. The leopard is actually the priesthood that selects or appoints and anoints the king. Even though we no longer have kingships, but you can see through the skeletal remains. For example, King Misuzulu here is adorning Buthelezi with the lion skin. He can do that because he is a lion. So he is basically confirming that the authority I've put upon you comes from the Ngwenyama, from the Lion King. So, if when you see Buthelezi walking and he has the Lion King skin on him, it confirms to you that he has been confirmed, appointed by the Ingonyama. And in the same manner, so when you see the king himself wearing leopard skin, it shows that he has been appointed and anointed by a one higher than himself. So when you wear the skin of authority that you wear is of an authority that is higher than yours, just as Mrs. Zulu is of a higher authority than Butelis. So the question is, who put the leopard skin on the back of Mrs. Zulu? It is the priesthood, which we no longer have in African spiritual systems, hence we no longer have legitimate kingships. We have kingships that are appointed by colonial systems, which can even recall them, hence you have the certificate of appointment or of recognition. So the leopard, as I've explained in the video that I showed a little bit earlier, you'll see more details why the leopard. Leopards don't rule over a pride. They live in isolation. They live in mountains, and you can see who goes in isolation and in mountains. Even when you go into all spiritual or religions, all spiritual systems and religions, it is the priesthood that goes into isolation to the mountains. When Moses came back with higher authority from the mount, with the 10 Commandments, he came down from the mountain. Even with Jesus, who is called the Ingonyama ka Juda, he himself also went to the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights. And guess what? Who anointed Jesus as the lion, or the Lion King of Judah, or Ingonyama ka Juda? It was the highest priesthood, which was John the Baptist. This is why Yeshua says that amongst all who are born of women, there is no greater priest than John the Baptist. Why? He was basically explaining that he had his kingship confirmed by the highest priesthood. So yeah, excuse the noise in the background. There's a lot of people here, obviously. They all came to see what they do not understand, obviously. So now, and then I'm gonna give one last example to show how this, because at the end of the day, the order of kingships came from Africa. Whatever form you find outside was basically copied from here, and then it had a different form. They took what they took and left what they left behind, obviously because it's not in their soul. So the last example is of when David was anointed as king, or appointed as king. Samuel went to Jesse and said, one of your sons is going to be king, and Jesse brought his favorite sons, the ones he thought were the chosen ones, and he said, none of these are the ones. And then he brought David and he said, this is the one. So if Samuel has to anoint and appoint David as king, but Samuel was not appointed by any man. He's appointed by God, and he appoints the king. So in that order, it comes from the original Bantu concept of Imboni, who the ancestors would instruct who to anoint and appoint as the next king. Many people only know him as the advisor to the king, but they don't know that before he becomes an advisor to the king, he is the one that anoints and appoints Ingonyama, the one who anoints and appoints Ngwenyama. That's it from me, Musoni. Peace and Bantu power.